Shah Rukh was a very important ruler in the Timurid Empire. He was born in 1377, the fourth son of the great conqueror Timur, also known as Tamerlane. Timur was a powerful and fearsome leader who built a vast empire that stretched across Central Asia, from modern-day Turkey to India. Unlike his father, who was famous for his military campaigns and conquests, Shah Rukh would become known for a very different style of leadership. He was not just a warrior, he was a builder, a patron of the arts, and a man who sought to bring stability to the lands his father had conquered through force. His early life was spent in the shadow of his mighty father, learning the ways of governance and war within a sprawling and often chaotic empire. Growing up as a prince in Timur's court was a complex experience. Shah Rukh was given responsibilities from a young age, demonstrating his capabilities as a governor. In 1397, his father appointed him as the governor of Khorasan, a large and important province in the eastern part of the empire. This region, with its capital in the city of Herat, would become his power base and the center of his world. Here, far from the central court in Samarkand, Shah Rukh began to develop his own methods of rule. He focused on administration, justice, and economic development, which was a different approach from his father's relentless focus on military expansion and accumulating wealth through conquest. Shah Rukh's connection to Timur was the key to his identity and his future claim to power. Being the son of such a legendary figure gave him immense prestige, but it also placed him in a world of intense competition with his brothers and nephews. Timur did not name a single clear successor before his death, which set the stage for a dangerous power struggle among his descendants. Shah Rukh's position was strengthened by his successful governance of Khorasan, where he had built a loyal following and a stable administration. His reputation as a just and competent ruler contrasted sharply with the more aggressive ambitions of his relatives, who were eager to carve out their own kingdoms from their grandfather's legacy. His mother was a concubine, which in the complex hierarchy of the Timurid family placed him in a slightly less prestigious position than some of his brothers whose mothers were from noble lineages. However, his personal abilities and the trust his father placed in him as a regional governor allowed him to overcome this. While Timur was on his campaigns, Shah Rukh was managing a significant part of the empire, learning the practical skills of statecraft. This experience in Khorasan was crucial. It was not just a temporary assignment, it became his home, and the foundation from which he would eventually rise to control the entire Timurid Empire, reshaping its destiny in the process. The death of Timur in 1405 plunged the vast empire into immediate chaos. Timur had been the central force holding everything together, and without him, his heirs began to fight among themselves for control. Timur had designated a grandson, Pir Muhammad, as his successor. But this choice was not respected by the other powerful princes. A violent and destructive civil war erupted across the empire. Cities were fought over, and the stability that Timur had imposed through fear and military might quickly dissolved. Various grandsons and other relatives laid claim to different parts of the empire, leading to a period of intense fragmentation and conflict that threatened to destroy everything Timur had built. During this tumultuous period, Shah Rukh acted with caution and strategic patience, while his relatives fought fiercely for control of the imperial capital, Samarkand. He consolidated his power in his own province of Khorasan. He had already established a strong and well-organized government in Herat, and he used this stability as his greatest asset. Instead of immediately marching on Samarkand, he waited for his rivals to weaken each other through their constant battles. This strategy proved to be incredibly effective. While other Timurid princes exhausted their resources and lost the support of the people, Shah Rukh presented himself as a figure of order and stability in a world of chaos. Slowly but surely, Shah Rukh expanded his influence from his base in Herat. He did not rely solely on military force, he also used diplomacy and his reputation for just rule to win over local leaders and populations tired of the constant warfare. By 1409, after several years of civil war, he had become the most powerful figure in the eastern part of the empire. He finally marched on Samarkand, the symbolic heart of the Timurid dynasty, and took control of the city. However, instead of moving his capital there, he chose to continue ruling from Herat, appointing his own son, Ulugh Beg, as the governor of Samarkand. This decision transformed Herat into the new political and cultural center of the empire. Shah Rukh's ascent to supreme power was not a single event, but a gradual process that took nearly 5 years. By 1409, he was the undisputed ruler of the Timurid heartlands of Transoxiana and Khorasan. He had outmaneuvered and defeated his main rivals, including Khalil Sultan, the grandson who had initially seized Samarkand after Timur's death. Shah Rukh's victory was a victory for a different kind of leadership. He had proven that stability, good governance and strategic patience could be more powerful than the reckless ambition and military aggression that had characterized the initial years after Timur's death. He had successfully reunified the core of his father's empire under his sole authority. Once he secured his rule, Shah Rukh's reign marked a significant shift from his father's era. Instead of constant warfare and expansion, he focused on peace, diplomacy, and economic prosperity. His long reign, which lasted for over 40 years, is often called the Timurid Renaissance. He worked to repair the damage caused by his father's campaigns and the subsequent civil war. He promoted trade along the Silk Road, making the routes safe for merchants and caravans. This brought immense wealth into his empire, which he used to fund his many projects. Under his rule, cities like Herat and Samarkand became bustling centers of commerce, attracting people and goods from as far away as China and Europe. Shah Rukh was a devout Muslim and a great patron of the arts, architecture, and sciences. He invested heavily in building projects, but his focus was different from his father's. He built mosques, madrasas, libraries, and hospitals. These buildings were not just beautiful, they were functional institutions that served the community and promoted learning and religion. The Goharshad Mosque in Mashhad, Iran, is one of the most magnificent examples of Timurid architecture and stands as a testament to their patronage. These projects transformed Herat into one of the most splendid cities in the world. Culture and knowledge flourished under Shah Rukh's sponsorship. He sponsored artists, poets, historians, and scholars of the time. The art of the Persian miniature painting reached its zenith, with workshops producing incredibly detailed and beautiful illustrated manuscripts. Famous poets like Jami worked in his court, and historians were commissioned to write the official histories of the dynasty. This intellectual environment was a direct result of the peace and prosperity he had established, allowing creative and scholarly pursuits to thrive in a way they could not during times of war. This period of cultural and scientific flowering was a deliberate policy. Shah Rukh understood that a great empire was built not just on military strength but also on a rich cultural identity and intellectual advancement. He promoted a form of Sunni Islam that was more orthodox than his father's practices, and he used this religious policy to unify his diverse subjects. His support for justice and the rule of law made his empire a safe and predictable place to live and work. This combination of political stability, economic growth, and cultural patronage created a golden age that is remembered as the high point of the Timurid dynasty's history. Shah Rukh's family played a crucial role in his reign and its legacy. His chief wife, Goharshad, was not just a consort but a powerful political figure and a major patron of architecture in her own right. She was highly influential in the court and sponsored the construction of some of the most important religious complexes of the era. Together they formed a powerful partnership that guided the empire's political and cultural direction. Their children were also given important roles. Shah Rukh appointed his sons as governors of key provinces, a strategy intended to maintain control over the vast empire. This was a common practice, but it also held the seeds of future conflict. His most famous son was Ulugh Beg, whom he appointed as the governor of Samarkand. Ulugh Beg shared his father's interest in science and culture, but he took it to an even higher level. While Shah Rukh focused on Herat, Ulugh Beg transformed Samarkand into a global center for astronomy and mathematics. He built a massive observatory, the likes of which the world had never seen, and gathered the greatest scientific minds of the age to work there. The astronomical tables they produced, the Zg-e-Sultani, were incredibly accurate and were used for centuries by scholars in Asia and Europe. Ulugh Beg's achievements were a direct result of the stability and support provided by his father, Shah Rukh. Shah Rukh's legacy is that of a unifier and a builder, a ruler who brought peace and prosperity after a period of intense violence. He is remembered not as a conqueror like his father, but as a wise statesman who fostered a remarkable cultural and scientific renaissance. He successfully held the Timurid Empire together for 4 decades, providing the stability necessary for art and science to flourish. His reign demonstrated that an empire could be sustained through good governance, justice, and cultural patronage, rather than just brute force. He shifted the Timurid identity from one based on nomadic conquest to one centered on Persianate high culture and Islamic piety. Today, Shah Rukh is still important because he represents a different model of leadership in the history of Central Asia. His reign is seen as the peak of the Timurid dynasty's cultural achievements. The architectural wonders, the beautiful manuscripts, and the scientific advancements from his era continue to be studied and admired. He managed to consolidate his father's vast and volatile conquests into a stable and prosperous empire, leaving behind a legacy of cultural splendor that would influence the later Safavid, Uzbek, and Mughal empires. He was the visionary who turned the raw power of the Timurid conquest into a lasting and brilliant civilization.